You're listening to Brunch with me, Noreen on this Thursday morning. Now let's turn to our next topic and guest of today. In the next 20 minutes or so, we are thrilled to welcome on the program Professor ZHANG, who is the Herman Hu Chair Professor of Nanomaterials at the Department of Chemistry, and he's also the director of the Hong Kong Institute for Clean Energy at the City University of Hong Kong. And Professor ZHANG has recently been awarded the Bank of China Hong Kong, the BOCHK Science and Technology Innovation Prize 2024 in the category of New Materials and New Energy. Welcome on the program. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, hello everyone.
And we are live this morning on Facebook, Noreen on RTHK Radio 3. And today we'll be discussing Professor ZHANG groundbreaking research and also the significance of this award and, of course, the future of clean energy technologies. I should also mention that the Bank of China HK, the BOCHK Science and Technology Innovation Prize, was established by the Hong Kong Alliance of Technology and Innovation and also sponsored by the Bank of China Hong Kong Limited, which is and this is a non-governmental merit-based award. The Science and Technology Innovation Prize aims at rewarding outstanding scientists and research teams in Hong Kong or research-related institutions set up by Hong Kong higher education institutions located in Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area for their significant achievements in scientific and technological innovation and transformation. Now, Professor ZHANG, first of all, congratulations on receiving the Bank of China Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Prize. Tell us, what does this recognition mean to you both professionally and personally?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Lorraine. Yeah. Actually, I'm happy to come here to share some my experience about it. Yeah, of course, receiving the BOCHK Science and Technology Innovation Prize is an incredible honor for me, both professional and also personal. Professionally, this recognition represents validation of our team's dedication to pushing the boundary of advanced nanomaterials and technology innovation. It underscores our work has a real impact on the global scientific community. This recognition will motivate us to keep driving impactful solutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. On a personal note, this award is deeply rewarding as it reflects years of hard working, collaborations, and unwavering passions for the field. It serves as a heartfelt reminder of the inspiring partners, colleagues, and also team members who have been instrumentally throughout this journey. Also, this recognition deepens my commitment to monitoring the next generation of researchers and also encouraging them to dream bigger, innovative, boldly, and also strive for a more sustainable future. I'm sincerely grateful for this honor and excited about the potential it holds to inspire further advancement in this field.
I can definitely hear the passion and the commitment you have for science, and it's always great to hear your support and your commitment to your team, also to mention that teamwork and collaboration is such an essential part of science and research. Now, let's talk about maybe what sparked your interest and your love for science, particularly in the field of nanomaterials and phase engineering. How did it all begin for you?
Yeah, actually, this is a long story. Yeah, when I was a kid, my dream was to become a scientist, right? So after I received my bachelor degree and also master degree in Nanjing University, I continued to pursue my PhD in Peking University. After I got my PhD degree, I went to Europe, Catholic University of Leuven, and then moved to US, Northwestern University, to do postdoc research. And after I worked at a startup company in US, and then an institute in Singapore. I joined the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore as assistant professor in 2006, and promoted to full professor in 2013. And in 2019, I joined the City University of Hong Kong. Actually, all my life are doing research, frankly. Okay, so several decades ago, the emergence of nanoscience and nanotechnology opened up a world of scientific possibility. Right? Actually, synthesis of novel nanomaterials is a key in the field of nanoscience and nanotechnology. So the uh, uh, synthesis of novel nanomaterials is very, very important if we are doing research in this field, right? Actually, the ability to manipulate materials at a nanometer or atomic scale, that's quite important to tailor their properties
Well,
and
first of all,
applications.
Professor Zhang, before you explain that, I think for some of our listeners who may not be so familiar with your sort of research, which is unconventional phase nanomaterials, explain to us what
Sure, sure.
exactly that
Of
is.
course, unconventional phase is different from conventional
Okay,
phase, right?
let's
For
talk about
bulk
conventional
materials,
phase first, then.
right. The conventional phase with the definition is just like in bulk materials because we all observe, any kind of bulk materials. For example, if you can see the gold ring, right? Yeah. So the yellow color showed up. So in that case, for bulk materials, they have some of the crystals will formed based on the lowest energy. Okay. So this we call this thermodynamic stable phase. Okay, this is a conventional phase. Unconventional phase is different from conventional phase. The definition of the unconventional phase is that we use any kind of method, for example, physical method or chemical method, to change the atomic arrangement in materials to form a new phase. This new phase is different from the lowest energy with a thermodynamic stable phase because lowest energy is more stable, but this unconventional phase sometimes because the energy is high, it's not very stable. But if we can find the area to stabilize this unconventional phase because the atomic arrangement is different from conventional phase. So in that case, they might show some different properties and applications, or maybe novel properties and applications that are different from conventional phase. So this is my field. We want to design this unconventional phase and use them for various applications, including the clean energy, or maybe health, and also biotechnology and so on.
What challenges have you faced in your research then?
Yeah, actually, because unconventional phase maybe doesn't exist in the real world. Okay, we want to discuss the new Christ phase, the different from the thermodynamic stable phase, right? So first, how to design it, how to keep the stable. So this is quite important, right? In nanomaterial synthesis, the important thing is how to precisely control the synthesis and also the atomic arrangement of nanomaterials. Okay, so in that case, so we need to develop novel method to design the nanostructures with unconventional phase. This is the first step. The second one is how to scale up. If we want to use it for real application, we need to scale up the production. This is also the challenge because even we can get the good method to design nanomaterials with unconventional phase at the lab,
How
but
do you
how to
scale
use
up?
for real application.
Yeah.
Right. This is another, challenge. Yeah, right. And of course, how to characterize it. This unconventional phase is different from the normal materials. We already know these unknown materials. We need to fully characterize it. We need to use a lot of method. For example, advanced method, yeah, transition method. For example, TEM, right? SEM, AFM, synchrotron, and so on. All these kind of advanced
What do they
technique
mean?
we need to use it.
Okay, what do they mean? What is AM, TM? What do they?
AFM
AFM,
is the
sorry.
atomic force microscope.
Okay.
Okay, STM scanning tunneling microscope, right? SEM scanning electron microscope, right? And also the TM transmission electron microscope. So all these technical, is very advanced. You can observe sometimes, for example, you can use TM to observe the atoms in materials and they can see the arrangement of atoms.
How important is collaboration in your field of work? Because Professor Zhang, you're an expert in nanomaterials, but then if you have to scale up, who do you have to collaborate with and how do you find these other collaborations?
Right, collaboration definitely is very, very important, not only just like within a lab, right? We have the big team, we have people different, we have postdoc, we have PhD student, but how to team them up to do a big research, this is important. This, of course, within team, and also because each team, we don't, just now I mentioned, we need to synthesize the nanomaterials, characterize it, and also, study the properties and applications, and and finally, maybe we need to do some calculation to explain why this phenomena, why this performance is good. So in that case, we need to team up not only team member in the group, we might collaborate with others, other expertise. For example, how to use a TM and how to do calculation, how to explore the application and so on. Now, finally, if we want to use them in the real application in industrial, we need to have the industrial partner, okay, to do the technology transfer. I think the collaboration is very, very important.
Well, yeah, let's maybe talk about let's discuss some of the practical applications that your research on phase engineering can be used in real life or the real world scenarios.
Oh, okay, let me give you maybe one example. Recently, I think 2 years ago, we published a paper in Nature, okay, Nature journal. This the top journal, okay. So in that case, we use our technique. We call this phase engineering for nanomaterials. We decide, for example, we first to prepare this unconventional phase transition metal dichalcogene 1T prime phase MS2 moly sulfide. Okay, normal MS2 is a 2H phase, semiconductive one, but we prepare a semi-metal 1T prime MS2. We use it as a template or support to synthesize the single atoms of PT, platinum, okay, PT single atom. By using this integrated structure, we get the extremely high the HER hydrogen evolution performance. Okay, so in that case, in the future we definitely want to use it to generate the green hydrogen. So this, for example, we want to use for real application.
Okay, well, in that case, let's talk about the impact that you see, how your research might impact the future of clean energy technologies.
Right. Actually, after we published this paper, a lot of media reported, and also some industrial partner or some companies contact us want to convert it to the real application because we developed a new catalyst for hydrogen evolution. The green hydrogen is very important now, right? It's a
We have
green
hydrogen
energy. We want
buses
to use
here.
it, right?
Yes, yes.
So this is our dream. We want to use it for real application. Another one that recently we also published another paper in Nature Materials, top journal. Of course, we use our unconventional 4H gold as template to grow single layer 1T prime, for example, MS2, WS2, and so on, and used for cells detection, okay, surface Raman enhanced detection. The detection limit is very, very low. So we want to use, for example, for disease detection in the future.
In what way? How will you use it for disease detection?
Yeah, we use this kind of the structure, the new materials, unconventional phase new materials as a platform to absorb some materials, for example, some protein, disease, and virus, and so on, and detect, for example, even very, very low limit. Okay,
Oh,
the,
like a
the
low
number
viral
of the
load. You can even detect like a lower viral load.
Right. Yeah, they can detect the, attomolar low, very, very low. Okay. I think in the future, we hope to achieve the single molecule or single virus detection.
Yeah. Professor Zhang, earlier you said that after you studied in the US, then you started to work in a startup in the US, and then you transitioned to academia in Singapore. What made you sort of make that transition from being an entrepreneur in a startup and then switching to be an educator?
Right. Yeah, because, when I was a kid, I want to be a scientist, right? But working in a company, sometimes you need to do some transition. Okay, the technology transfer work, maybe you need to repeat this work, always repeat it to make it better and better. But my dream to be scientist is different from this workers in company or manager in company, right? We want to discover some new phenomena or discover some new materials, discover some new properties, right? This to be frankly, I like this kind of job, right? Every day you work, with young people, you study, the new phenomena, study new knowledge is very inspire me to do this kind of exciting thing. So I go to the, university. So in that case, I can do, frankly, doing research is very free. I can do it freely, right? It's just like we discover this kind of field. We pioneer some work in the phase engineering for nanomaterials. So of course, it's very exciting, and maybe some materials even they don't exist in the world. We can decide. Okay, so a student also think very excited. And another important thing, because now we are a professor in university, so every day we contact the young people. So in that case, they also can inspire us to do more good research, right? We feel young. So this is very exciting. Okay.
I love that, Professor Zhang. Well, you are young, but also you mentioned such a key point that learning is two ways. The students can learn from their professors, but also you're absolutely right. Professors can also learn about what the young people are thinking. And yeah, so, well, let's talk about what sorts of advice would you give to young researchers? What have you learned along the way in your journey? And what would you tell them
Right.
if
I
some
think
students
for
are interested in
young students,
science?
definitely the advantage is that they're young, right? They're energetic. They can absorb a lot of, knowledge, new knowledge, and can open minded to do anything they want, right? So in that case, I think first step, they need to choose a good research direction. Okay. If the direction is correct, they work very hard and achieve the goal definitely is close to close. If the direction is wrong, sometimes, if you work hard, you're far away from the goal. That's different, right? So how to guide a student? I think supervisor is very important, right? Supervisor, they have the experience to guide a student in the correct research direction. This is the first. The second one, I think for students, self-learning and self-motivation are very important, right? Because the knowledge is always, increase. You cannot always stop there, sit there to wait. The important thing is to do self-learning. You always self-question, ask your question, fundamental question, scientific question. So in that case, you can learn it from the knowledge, and also from teachers, from professors, or even from media. I think this is also very important. The third one, I think for young students, important thing is keep going. Okay, when you meet doing research, we always meet problem, right? How to meet problem? I tell students this first step. The second step is how to solve the problem, right? So the important thing, you learn a lot of knowledge, you get the experience, and solve the problem. After you solve it, definitely you grow up. It's different from others. If you meet problem, always escape. Definitely, I don't think you are good, self motivation guy, right?
You're a true scientist. You're really logical about the step by step and being methodical. But self motivation is sometimes not so easy, especially I imagine with research, it can be lots of moments of confusions, lots of moments of frustration, and setbacks and mistakes. How do you pick yourself up? How can young people do that? Because you have experience, but for them, sometimes the
Right.
setback can be quite frustrating.
Right, I think this is normal, just like a kid. When you grow up, you want to run, you need to walk first, right? Before you walk, you need to stand up first, right? At that time, I think every time maybe you fall down, but how doesn't matter, right? I think this even you get a lesson, this definitely is valuable to your life. The problem is always there. But after you solve the problem, you grow up, you feel excited. This unbelievable. I think you feel very happy. After you cross the barrier, you feel happy, right? I think insistent is quite important. You need to do everything by yourself and also learn from others on the right direction of the track. I think everything should be done. You definitely for young people, they have the whole life to do research. Definitely, if they insist on it, they have the bright future, I think.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Professor Zhang. I really enjoyed talking to you today. We really had an enlightening discussion. Do hold the line. And meanwhile, thank you once again to Professor Zhang Hua, who is the Herman Hu Chair Professor of Nanomaterials at the Department of Chemistry and the Director of the Hong Kong Institute for Clean Energy at the City University of Hong Kong. And once again, congratulations on being awarded the Bank of China Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Prize 2024 in the category of new materials and new energy, and really a real accolade. And also we look forward to more of your inventions and your research to contribute to a future of clean energy technologies. Thank you so much, Professor Zhang. Do hold the line. And now a quick look at the weather forecast for today. Fine and warm. The